Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to ParaMystic Podcast with Christina Bloom. I am here today with a really fascinating person. His name is Michael Zinn, and we'll bring him up in a moment. Just real quick, I wanted to let you all know, remind those of you who already saw it. I am doing a trans mediumship practice circle Monday evening, this coming Monday evening, the 22nd of December at 7:30 Central Time. There is a Facebook group, or I'm sorry, Facebook event already created for it. You can just go in there to register. And one more event coming up, the 27th, I will be at Book Bauble and Blessings in Antigo, Wisconsin, doing a gallery reading and private readings. So, hey, hello, Lisa. Thanks for coming in. And those are my announcements, because then we're coming into Christmas and New Year's, so there'll be new stuff after New Year's. But we have lots of stuff coming up. I have lots of stuff coming up for the New Year's, mostly online. So for those of you who have not had the opportunity to meet me in person, you can still meet me online with different classes. The mediumship circle, practice circle on the first Monday night of every month, and the trans channeling circle on the third Monday night of every month. And then the opposite Tuesdays is when I will be teaching different classes. So lots of fun stuff coming up there. And looking forward to some events. Haven't really nailed in too many, except for one in September, which I'm super excited about. And that would be the Western Pennsylvania Paracon and Cryptidcon, I believe is what it's called. So I will be in Johnstown, Pennsylvania in September. Beyond that one, I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens. And so with all of the business set behind us, let's bring on Michael Zinn.
Hello.
Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. I had so much fun on your show. I wanted to bring you onto my show.
Cool. Awesome. I'm glad you had fun. That's what it's all about. That's what my show is for.
Yeah. Oh, we got some Tim Lawrence is saying, hola,
hey,
Michael.
What's up, Tim?
Hi, Kimmy. Thanks for popping in, and Lisa as well. I don't normally do this live, so it's kind of fun to see the stream of comments coming in.
Yeah.
So, Michael, what have you been up to?
I've been really, really busy working. I'm working with a new digital marketing agency as my kind of real job. And it's been keeping me really busy, but I'm really excited about a lot of the things that are going on there. I feel myself growing. It's really, really, really cool.
That's amazing.
And then, of course, I have the live stream of consciousness broadcast that I do on Thursdays, and then holding space, which is something I do for the Sacred Spiral Network on Tuesdays. So I'm busy, but just loving life. I mean, I'm just really creating my own reality these days is what 2026 is about for me.
Isn't that amazing? It is for me too. I just want to bring up, like, we're moving out of the shedding, right? The year of the snake, if you're into Chinese astrology. Moving out of that and into the year of the horse, which is like full speed ahead.
Yeah. Feels like it for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So you were talking off camera before we started the show about meeting different metaphysical folks, and that's how the live stream of consciousness came about. You want to tell us a little bit more of that? Because I know you went pretty much from videography and photography and that sort of thing, which I assume you're still doing.
Yep.
And moving into bringing in the live stream of consciousness. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, well, I've always been like a technical kind of geek, right? So I've always been into computers and that kind of stuff. I've also always been like a visual art creative, photography and videography and graphic design and even drawing, at times. Even music. I'm a musician as well. So creative is definitely a part of my essence. So I was just kind of doing my thing and living life. And I started to meet a lot of people who were metaphysically gifted in different ways, psychic mediums, Akashic records readers, astrologists, channelers. And it felt very comfortable for me to be around all of that. I was very open to it all, right? I wasn't, I mean, I'm a skeptic of certain things, right? I grew up in the three dimensions. And so there's a certain set of rules and a set of kind of perceptions that I grew up with. But these things were just kind of opening me up to other perceptions. And it was really interesting to me. And I came up with the idea as a producer. I was starting to produce shows for people. Christopher Allen is a good friend of mine. He's a psychic medium. And right before COVID, probably for the year before COVID, we found a studio where he could do a gallery reading for about 50 people. Um,
Nice.
do a 3 camera live shoot. He was really excited about that because no editing, nobody could question what was going on. Uh,
Right.
and for me, it was just phenomenal to be around that energy, and in that situation, in my role, right? Because I was documentarian, right? I was documenting it all. I was there as a an observer, but I guess my spiritual self, felt the energies that were being exchanged, and so it was just, it felt like the place to be. So I came up with this idea of a network of doing different shows, and I did start kind of producing it. I did start putting it together on YouTube. It's called Channel Zen, and it's just a bunch of different shows and things. But life takes over as it does, and I had to kind of pay the bills. So that's still kind of happening. This whole creating your reality, that never went away,
Right.
and now I've kind of figured out some ways to actually actuate it and make it more real. So I think that's why now I'm doing 2 shows. I'm working heavily with the Sacred Spiral Network, doing what I do, creating title graphics and
Mhm.
helping to facilitate other people who have these amazing missions and amazing gifts to get their gifts out there, and I think that's really my role, more so than, let's say, practicing, as a psychic medium, or practicing tarot, or any of these things that I love. I just don't
Yeah.
practice them. I just kind of observe them and enjoy them, and respect them for what they are.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. We definitely, speaking as someone who is a psychic medium and not being technically oriented, it's really important to us to have people like you.
Mm.
People
Well,
who
thank you.
can get the word out, people who
Yeah.
can share and help us get our messages out. But in a
Yeah.
way, that's also getting your message out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely, absolutely, and really, my message is, that you have everything inside of you to do everything you need, right? My message is one of kind of, I don't want to say anti-establishment, right? But I do feel like, the world right now, there's a education system in place, there's systems in place that, I don't know if they were necessarily designed for our best interests, right? And I think
right?
that the time that we're in now, with all of these people kind of coming into their gifts and becoming aware, we're realizing that. And I think, again, that's a powerful moment in humanity, because people are doing this kind of stuff, these kinds of shows, these kinds of networks. We have the power with technology to
Yes,
broadcast all around the world, right? And get our message out.
yes,
So I think I'm excited about this time, and the live stream of consciousness actually came more from a specific branch of that story. So it was actually COVID, and a good friend of mine is Jesse Blaze Snyder. He's the son of Dee Snyder, very spiritual, very talented, amazing individual. And he was working at a wellness center nearby, and he wanted to do these classes, but you couldn't do group classes. So I said, why don't we, broadcast them, and he came
mhm,
up with the 13 universal laws, according to Jesse Blaze. It was a mix of all sorts of hermetic beliefs and different systems. And it was just the law, starting with the law of one, and it was an amazing 13-week series that we did. And when we were done, he's like, this is so much fun. I want you to come on screen with me and be my co-host. And he is such a charismatic guy that I had never desired to be on screen as a personality, but I was like, oh, I could certainly co-host for him. He's amazing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I could be Ed McMahon,
There you go.
and it was such a transformational experience to speak to people and then get emails and be like, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, you said something that affected me, basically, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like something that I
Yes.
did just because I was doing it, right? I was just doing it. I wasn't doing it to reach anybody, but it reached somebody, you know what I mean? So I feel like that authenticity kind of set me in motion to today.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I hope I say this right. Scribble Bites Worldwide is curious. Are you a Scorpio
Or
slash
Aries.
Aries, or I don't
So
know if
that's
that
an
means a
interesting, yeah,
combination
yeah.
of
I
one
don't
or
know
the
how
other?
those two tie together. Maybe it's just like one or the other, but
Yeah.
I am a Scorpio Libra cusp. My birthday's October 23rd.
Okay. That's an interesting cusp.
It is indeed.
How do you balance flow and balance?
I don't know if I do necessarily. I try. I think one of my biggest I don't want to use the word challenge. I don't like saying that out loud. But I think one of the things I'm navigating now is this the spiritual side and the three-dimensional side, right?
Right.
Because I I get to, I don't have to, I get to wake up every morning and experience a day. You know what I mean?
Right.
And again, by setting that intention like I just did, that I get to do it, you know what I mean? I feel like I've created a good balance. So I guess that kind of answers the question. But I do feel like sometimes, sitting here talking to you, right? If I start talking about the fact that, well, you and I are actually the same being
Right. We are.
somewhere
Yes.
at the root, we're the same being. So how are we even talking to each other? My 3D self has a hard time kind of wrapping my head around that. But my spiritual self knows it. My
Hmm.
spiritual self knows it to be true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think there's been so much talk about the 3D to 5D split, right? Where
Mhm.
we're moving into the fifth dimension, but we still have to work in the third dimension.
Mhm.
So that alone is a balance. And I
We
kind of
get
feel
to
like,
work in the third dimension.
pardon me, we get to work
We
in the
get to
third
work in the third
dimension. Yes. All right. We get to.
dimension. Sorry.
I have to keep reminding myself that that's a privilege because
Yeah.
sometimes it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
But
It is. And I think
yeah,
that's why we're programmed to say those things, right? And
right.
and that's why I kind of intentionally try to, like, ooh, I just said something that I'm gonna re-say it. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Rephrase it,
Yeah.
rephrase it, bring a different light to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's incredible. I know for me, um, I've got like, I don't know, 5 or 6 houses in Virgo.
Mhm.
It's all about the small details, right? It's all about the focus. And so people like me who are hyper focused on details tend to miss the big picture.
Mhm.
But with your combination, you get to see the big picture.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And you get more clarity, I think, on the big picture than some of us do. And I
Mhm.
think that's amazing. And I feel like that's one of the reasons that we all have all these different aspects so that we can
Sure.
work together well
For
and
sure.
bring things together, the technical with the spiritual with it's all part of one thing anyway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I love having conversations like this because it,
Me
it
too.
kind of opens the brain up a little
You
bit.
did, and you just said it, right? That whole idea of the one creating individual aspects to experience itself. That's
Yes.
what's happening right there, right? You're saying, oh wow, look at the way he's doing that, right? and
Yes.
and and then getting enlightenment somehow from it, like just understand, seeing that it's different than the way you perceive things, and maybe there's some sort of, you know way that they both can be part of something bigger.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I just want to give a shout out right now to my producer, Gwen Johns.
What's up, Gwen?
What's up, Gwen? You're amazing. Gwen
Yes.
is amazing. Like I did this on my own, doing teaching myself production and all of that, and honestly was not good at it because it's just not where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
But boy, she jumps in and just runs with it. And I
That's
am
great.
so grateful to have somebody with technical knowledge who is also very spiritually minded.
Yes, I
It is
relate.
it is amazing. I love you, Gwen, so much. You have no idea. I am so grateful to her and also to All Access Network Television because it does give me access to more people.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And with you working with Spiral Network, and I know Kelly Brickle because we worked together at a different station before she started Spiral Network. And it's, I love her very much.
She's
I
awesome.
do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She's awesome. It's just really interesting when we can connect into each other's systems
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and move forward like that. I think it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I think you nailed something important there, right? I was watching the intro, and I mean, I was familiar with you through Kelly, but not
Yes.
so much with the All Access Network or the network that we're on right now. And what an impressive lineup of shows, you know what I mean? And again, like you said, I think, and that was the whole idea of Channel Zen. I think presenting a bunch of different things that are similar but different, you start to expand the community and people start to show up. I
Yes.
have met so many people last night on my show. I was going through this box I got. I have met so many people through um, going to the Sacred Spiral Network because that audience is so open, right? And people just kind of check out the other shows. And I met this woman, Jules. Who something, she connected to me somehow, and she reached out and she said, hey, I had this experience. She sent me this incredible video of her sleeping in the middle of the night, like a surveillance kind of video.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden you hear these voices, you hear her and you hear another voice answer her, and it was just I'm getting chills talking about it.
I
but
am too.
but
Continue.
through that, we created this relationship, and I got a box of treats. She calls herself Grandma Jules, and she cooks like chocolates and muffins and all of these amazing things. And I got this box full of unconditional love, and I was like, this box is full of unconditional love. It was amazing. and
That is
and
amazing.
yeah, it's just amazing. So everybody out there, by the way, I'm going to give a shout out to Tim. I see Tim out there, my friend, and Gwen, you're amazing. Scribble, Kimmy, Lisa, anyone who shows up here, there's a reason you're here, for sure. And you know it. I don't have to explain it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's really interesting to me how I don't know if you do live events. Um, I do some live events where I go to like psychic fairs, paracons, whatever, and people say things like, "Oh, I love your show. I watch it. I listen to it. Whatever," and I'm like, "Thank you." like, you know, thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah.
It just always still takes me by surprise
Yeah,
when I
you
hear
never know
something
who's
like
out there.
that.
I've gotten people who are like, old college friends who are like,
Yeah,
hey, I saw your show. And I'm like, why didn't you say hi? You know what I mean? Because I do a live, I like the live
right, right,
vibe. But yeah, people who you don't even know are watching. And again, I feel like, the philosophy, the spiritual philosophy, everything happens for a reason, everything happens when it's supposed to. So all of
right.
that stuff applies.
It really does. It really does. And I love that that connection is there and that the web just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger as we're moving into a higher consciousness
Yep.
of living and being.
Yep.
Excuse me, allergies.
That's
I know it's not professional, but I couldn't figure out how to turn my camera off. So,
that's all right. I do also want to say I remember happy birthday to Gwen. It was
yes, happy birthday to Gwen. It was yesterday. Um, can I just tell a really cute story with Gwen? Because
Sure.
my audience, some of them are familiar with the fact that I have a 5-year-old grandson who is just
Aw,
an absolute light in my life.
amazing.
And of course, I think he's the cutest thing on the planet. So
I'm sure he is.
Gwen actually was here in Wisconsin from South Carolina visiting me last week. And what I do for holidays for my inner circle is that I make baked goods for them. And so I wanted to send Gwen home on the plane with some baked goods, right? So my grandson, he's 5, helped me make chocolate chip cookies
Nice.
for Gwen. But the really cute part is we got down the mixer, we got all the ingredients together, and then he gets down off of his little step stool because she came out of my office. And he grabs her by the hand and takes her back into the office and shuts the
You
door.
can't
Like,
see
you
this.
can't be in
It's
here.
a
We're making a
surprise.
special surprise for you.
That's so cute.
It was just the cutest thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they were good cookies. So
That's awesome. But that's a good story. I like it.
those are love cookies. They
Nice,
absolutely are.
nice, nice,
Yes.
nice.
So I just wanted to share that because Gwen is not just my producer. She is a
Good friend.
sister in spirit. She's a good
Awesome.
friend. And I just really love spending time with her, which is amazing too. But
Awesome. That's
uh,
always great.
it's really, I love when friends become family.
It's
You
awesome.
know, I love that.
Yeah.
And often that happens with our audiences too, where they feel so connected to the messages that they become kind of connected to our energy as well.
That's listen. It's such a better decision, right? To get on
Yes,
social media and yell and scream at people, or go on social media and find people that you love. You know what I mean?
yes.
You know, you can express either one. It's your choice.
It absolutely is a choice.
You know.
It really is a choice.
Yeah.
And I love that we are able to connect like this. Like I connected to you through Kelly, but I connected to Kelly through Todd, and I
Right.
connected to Todd through someone else, you know,
Right.
so the web just keeps
Yeah.
growing and getting stronger.
I
And
love
I
it.
just
Yeah.
think it's such a beautiful thing.
You know, it's so obvious to me. I say this all the time.
Yeah,
We're all in this together, right?
we
Like,
are.
and to me, there's two philosophies, right? And it's not unfortunate. It's just the way it is, right? There's always a spectrum, right? One end and the other end, and mine is we're all in this together. But you know, like I said, that if I open that window and look outside, I see a lot of every man for himself. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yes.
go ahead if that's how you feel. You know, I'm gonna hang out with the people who are, you know, of my ilk and are all in it together.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look out the window or, you know, just go grocery shopping.
I didn't know how else to put it, but you know,
Yes,
it's the reality. You know what I mean?
it is.
And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I think I've kind of come to terms with the idea, like, not that it's always going to be like this. I think it's going to change, but
Yes,
I don't think it's a. I know there's a whole other conversation. I don't think it's a battle of good and evil, and one wins over the other.
I agree.
I think the physical world that we're in, they're both going to exist always. I think
Yes,
it doesn't feel like that when you're at that next level. You know, you're not in the physical realm anymore. I don't think good and evil mean the same thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It, you know, and let's bring that into it for a while because we didn't actually even have a direction for this conversation, so we can go anywhere.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's like people, if you're out in the public and you're not with your people, it's like people seem to be in their own little bubbles,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
not really aware of other people, which I think is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
And I know some people who are, you know, above my generation or older than my generation who just call it being rude.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I think people are just so consumed with nonstop information,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just crazy how we tend to bubble ourselves and go out. And I actually teach people how to do this because I tend to deal with a lot of empaths who just
Mhm, mhm.
absorb other people's energy.
Right. Right. Right.
You know, maybe that bubble isn't so bad, but maybe we could just stop bumping into each other.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I'm gonna just respond to what was going on in my head with that, and I think it has a lot to do with intention, right?
Yes,
Like, and even the idea of having intention or not, right? So, like,
exactly.
you know, maybe you're out in public and you don't really have an intention other than I gotta go to the grocery store and get this, and that's your only intention. But the other intention is this right here, right? This community, this I'm going to go do a meditation on Sunday, you know what I mean, morning, and get in a group meditation. I'm going to go to a sound bath. You know, those are intentions. You're putting yourself in those other kind of public spaces that aren't disconnected. They're
Right.
they're connected. You know what I mean? Like, I agree. You know, you go to the supermarket and it's so disconnected. You know, it's crazy. Um, but
Yeah.
you know, I remember a moment. Again, this is just me, and I don't know why this came to mind. I guess talking about the supermarket and being in public. I was in a supermarket at one moment, and suddenly, like, I was aware of the din, right, that was happening, right? There were just conversations all around me. There was everything that was going on was just a big collage of noise. And
Yes.
In a split second, somehow, I was near a older woman having a conversation with one of the younger kids working at the supermarket, and the older woman was saying something like, "This is just an example of, like, when I was your age, blah blah blah. This I did this," and the kid was like, "Oh, whatever." And in that split second, I was both of them.
I
I I
get
was
that.
I was the woman having that conversation. I was the kid receiving that conversation, and I saw my reflection in, like, the moment around me. What a crazy experience that was, right? In a split second. And I think, again, that's kind of what's helped give me peace. To just know everything's all right. Nobody is worse than the other. You know what I mean? Nobody's out to get you, and I don't mean that in, like, nobody's out to get you, because
Hmm.
there are people who are, but it's just their role, right? It's
Right.
just like, it's not personal, right? It's just who they are. It's their essence, and it's not a reflection of you. I guess. I mean, I know that's a very vague statement, but again, these are the things that kind of help me, navigate day to day and feel happy and have the smile on my face and be who I am.
I love that.
Yeah,
And just because it's vague doesn't mean it isn't profound,
cool.
you know? And if we're paying attention, there's a lot of stuff that goes on around us that is really profound.
Hmm.
We just might not stop and notice it.
Hmm. Hmm.
We just might not stop and think about it or
Right.
feel about it even, you know?
I like I
There's
like what you just said. Feel about it. I think feeling is the universal language, right? I think that's the
absolutely,
truth. Feeling.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we translate that over into intuition, psychic ability, there's clairsentience, which is the clear feeling, is the most common form. It's also the least clear form because our brains want to take that feeling and translate it into words.
Right. Right.
And
Totally.
sometimes words just don't cut it.
I totally get that. I totally get that. I feel like language is a rough one. You know what I mean? It definitely is. And
It
and
is.
and but that's, I think, part of who I am too, right? Is trying to be very intentional with my language. You hear me sometimes stop when I'm talking and be like, "Wait, I don't want to say that."
Right.
I think that's important too, you know?
I agree. I
Mhm.
agree. I do want to invite the people who are in the chat. If you have questions, toss them into the chat now that we're speaking about words and how, they're not really all that clear, but that's okay. Toss your questions right into the chat and that will help us answer, get this in a direction that maybe means more to the people who are listening,
Cool. I like that.
because that's why we're here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, that's why we're here. I don't remember really what we talked about when I was on your show, but I do remember that it just felt so easy to be able to glide through conversations.
Mhm.
And I feel like you are one of those people that makes that really easy. So thank you
Oh,
for
thank
that.
you very much.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
And sorry about my drippy nose. What the heck?
We don't see it, just so you know. I don't see
That's
anything. I
good.
just I just see the tissue come up when you
Yeah,
say you're dripping.
when I'm dabbing. That is really the beautiful thing about these shows, though, is that people want to see real life people.
Mhm, mhm.
People want to see reality. People want to see, okay, these people are just real life people. They just have enough courage to get in front of a camera,
Absolutely.
basically.
No, absolutely, and that's really
Yeah.
what the live stream of consciousness is all about. When I kinda try to describe what it is, I say, "We all hold a puzzle piece."
Yes.
And that piece of the puzzle is a part of the big picture. We're all a part of the big picture, and maybe your puzzle piece doesn't fit up here by these pieces, maybe it fits down here by these pieces, and that's
Mhm.
okay. But my show is about holding up your piece and being like, here's my piece. Does it look like it might fit with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really what it's about. So do you have any
Yeah.
experiences with the octopus? If it doesn't make sense, it's okay. I kind of do and kind of don't. Let me see if I can find something really quick
Okay.
on my computer here. Uh, ba, 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 ba. I can't find it. Okay. I play around a lot with AI.
Okay.
And so there's this app out called Sora, which is a new like video generation app. And I try to come up with like clever ideas, and I try to be creative, right? I'm not just trying to say like, show me a video of Joe eating spaghetti. I try to come
Yeah.
up. So I came up with this idea of a craft product called Soctopus. And what Soctopus is, it's for your socks that have become missing other socks. So you have single socks, and
Yes.
it's a kit that allows you to sew them together and make a Soctopus stuffed animal
Oh,
out of your
cool.
socks.
How much
So
fun
that's
is that?
what came to mind when that question came up. And I wish I had the video. It's probably on my Facebook or something like that. But that's what I can remember with an octopus.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just want to throw one more thing out there about octopus, because I find the octopus as a species to be really interesting, because
Mhm.
they are wicked smart.
Oh yeah.
They can break out of pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is a lesson in that as far as animal archetypes go.
I agree.
We have the ability to break out of the box that we have either put ourselves in or maintained that someone else has put us in.
Hmm.
And so I think that the octopus can really give us some great lessons.
I love that. I have never even thought of that, like seeing your reflection in the octopus
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, there's a couple of channels on YouTube of people who are like raising octopuses and doing things with octopuses that are amazing. Like they'll put something in a jar to see the octopus unscrew the jar.
Unscrew the lid. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. How amazing is that?
Amazing. They are so smart. I mean, it's just so weird to be like, I like a nice furry warm pet that I can hold, but
Right.
like people have interactions with animals they have pets with where the intelligence and the connection, even the connection, right? The idea that an octopus is going to respond to a human and work with a human that way. I saw a video, I'm just remembering this as we speak. I saw a video of a guy who taught an octopus how to play a keyboard. He built
Wow.
a special keyboard that had like pegs sticking out of the keys so the octopus can wrap his arm and pull them instead of pressing them down. And then he would dangle food over the different keys, and over I think it was like 8 months he taught the octopus how to actually play a rhythm. Like he had to provoke it with the with the food, but the octopus played a rhythm on the keyboard. It was amazing to
That
see.
is really amazing.
Yeah.
That's what came to my mind when you said that was they can be as creative as they want to be, want being the key word.
Hmm.
He gave the octopus a reason to want to be creative. I
Yep.
love that.
I love it. Amazing, right? What an incredible interaction, between
Yeah.
species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We had a question from Lisa.
Okay.
Um, and I know Lisa personally. So she says, my father passed away a few months ago. I'm trying to get clarity on messages from him. How do I get clarity, and how do I know what is real and what I want to hear?
Mm.
And I have spoken with her father since he passed away, and he's not got a lot of clarity going on as far as the information he's sharing. So,
Mm.
what would you consider? I mean, let's hear your point of view on this. How to get clarity?
Ooh, I'm trying to get clarity on message from it. How do I get clarity? So how do I know what's real and what I want to hear? So I'm imagining you're getting a message, but questioning whether you're having bias on that message, right? Like
Yes.
kind of like the message is coming through. Am I interpreting it right? Again, I don't really practice that kind of stuff, but intuitively, I mean, I feel like feeling, again, go back to feeling, like what feels right. Like if you're saying that you feel like you're fooling yourself with the answer, like you want to hear, you want to interpret a certain way, but it's not really supposed to be interpreted that way. Maybe that's the feeling that you're getting, right? That
Right.
you are having bias on it. But reflect. I would say reflect on it. You know what I mean? And really feel, right? Like what is that feeling? Where is it coming from? Where in your body is that feeling? Again, I'm not a practitioner, but I've worked with people, I've taken classes, so like I understand the idea of identifying a thought, right? And then almost, where am I feeling that thought in my body? What does it feel like? Is it pressure? Is it heat? Is it, what color is it, right? All of these kinds of exercises that you do. So I would just say meditate on it, right? I would say just feel into it and really try to understand what it's telling you, because there's a message there, obviously, right?
Obviously,
That's trying to
yes,
come through.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Kim Princess, your first instinct is always correct.
Thank you, Kim. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. You'll see a Scorpio man from Mars. Ask him about me. My work is complete. Awesome. Thank you. Well, somebody needed to hear that stuff about the octopus.
I think so. Yeah.
And besides the octopus, it was also, yes, it was also that recent experience I had with that video, watching that video. So you were right. I definitely, I did have that experience.
It was the song that
It did
played.
not play. It wasn't Octopus's Garden that it played. It was just a simple like melody. I think. I don't remember. If you Google octopus playing keyboard, I'm sure it'll come up on Google.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And Lisa, I want to say what Michael said is really good advice. Where are you feeling it? Where in your body are you feeling it?
Mhm.
It's important. Yeah. I love that people are popping in with some of these questions, because it's so important for us to even understand what people want to hear,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I know I do a lot of camera time these days, which I never actually saw myself doing, but I'm always trying to come up with ideas, and instead of ideas, maybe I just like feedback, right? So
Yeah, it's interesting you're saying that, because lately I've been feeling like, what am I doing, right? Like I'm
mhm,
having cool conversations, I'm having cool people on my show, but who am I, right? What do I have to offer to the show, right? And again, I think that's just, as humans, what we do with our brain, right? I'm not good enough, that kind of thing, right? And not that I'm saying that. I love myself. I have a good relationship with that, but I know I'm supposed to just show up, right? So even though sometimes I feel like, well, we just blabbered for an hour, we didn't really talk about anything specific. Again, I think there's a reason for it, and last night I was talking to oh my God, I forget who I was talking to, but they were talking about watching themselves. I was talking to Karen Bonifilio, and she was talking about watching her own podcasts from like 3 years ago and being like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I was just a different person. I
yes,
love that. I love looking at videos of myself playing in a band 20 years ago and being
hmm,
like, who is that guy? Knowing where the connection is and who it is, but also knowing that's a different person, right?
right,
Like I was in a different place. You don't stand in the same stream twice, right? Don't they say, isn't that a thing? You don't stand in the same river
right,
twice.
because the water's always moving.
The
So
water's
yeah,
always moving. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I know I look back at some of my first shows, I guess we'll call them, from the LTKDB days, and I'm like, wow, I'm glad that I go back and watch them. I know people who never go back and watch themselves,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I love to see how much more comfortable I am and
Yeah.
how much it has improved doing these shows, because I feel like we get these messages out to people, and we may not even realize, like you said, we could be blathering on for an hour,
Right.
not even realizing that something that we said helped somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I
Me too.
absolutely love that. And I have to now look up Octopus Garden, because I don't even know what that
Oh,
is.
Octopus's Garden, it's a Beatles song. I'd like
Is
to
it?
be under the sea in an
Okay.
octopus's garden in the shade. You never heard that?
I've never heard that.
Wow. You got to check out the Beatles. You got to look at their old catalog. I mean, yeah, it's a classic.
I'm sure that there's a lot of Beatles stuff I haven't heard, because I've only ever really heard what they played on the radio,
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Lisa. You're
So are
awesome.
you, Lisa?
Yeah. See that? You see that, how the reflection thing works? It's like somebody, it's amazing, right? It's just
It
it's so
is.
powerful. And you know what? I don't mean to cut this short. I could talk to you
Yeah.
for hours. I do have to get to work, but I
Yes.
do want to say something. This was told. Tell the story, right? There's this one. I want to make a video of this because I think it's a great exercise, and I think it's a great piece of advice for peace and a happy life.
Okay.
And that is the moment in the day. Everybody has it. There's a moment in the day, either you say to somebody or somebody says to you, "Hey, how you doing?" Right? That
Yes.
moment is so important. That interaction and that response is so important, because notice, so do this exercise, notice the response you get. And I guarantee, or I'm imagining, you're going to get a lot of hanging in there, eh, living the dream, sarcastically. And
Yes.
those are very powerful words that that person is saying, that sets their own tone for their own day.
It
So for
does.
me, I started to, first of all, like in my own response, when someone asked me, I would say, "I'm doing great." I would find some reason in my head, so that I'm not lying, so that it's authentic, that I'm doing great. And I would say,
Yes.
"Awesome. Everything is great." Because I think we have the tendency to start being like, "Oh, my kid's sick," or, this or that. Right. And not that you don't want to, those are real things that are happening, and I'm not saying
Mhm.
to like pretend they're not, right?
Right.
But set the tone, right? And say, "I'm awesome," or say, "I'm great." Also, when people were responding to me and they would say, I would say, "That's not my favorite answer," and I would explain to them, like, this whole idea. But I'm going to say, I guarantee, even though I don't know what that means, but I guarantee, if you start to be aware of that moment and start to be
Mhm.
intentional with that exchange, life is going to get better for you.
Yes, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And I am going to respect your need to get to work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
can do
no.
this
I am
forever. This is a
grateful.
great conversation. Yeah.
I'm so grateful for you coming onto the show and for
Yeah.
sharing the time that you have
Thank
with
you.
us. And I know pinning you down sometimes can be a challenge. So, because
No,
you're
thank
such
you.
a
I'm
busy
glad
guy.
I'm glad I did this. I wanted to do this. I wanna reach, I wanna reach people. I want people to know, like, I'm just like everybody else. I just decided to be happy, and I just
Yes,
decided to be, unconditionally loving. You know what I mean? It's like it's a choice.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I do want to throw out there for Scribble Bites Worldwide. It
Thank you.
says, yeah, the doctrine of flux. I am going to research that. I
I
like
don't know
it.
what that is. The
I don't
doctrine
know
of
what it is
flux.
either, but I'm
Oh,
going to
interesting.
research it.
Nice, nice.
So, Michael, thank you so much. And if
Thank
people
you.
want to get a hold of you to be a guest on your show or to, engage you in some kind of work that
Yeah,
you do,
so
how do people get a hold of you?
yeah, the livestreamofconsciousness.com does have a form on it that you could fill out if you want to be a guest. Just say, it just says, "Who are you and why do you want to be a guest?"
Yes,
And so that's a good way to get on the live stream of consciousness. I have a website that shows my art and some video stuff that I do. It's called Photosynthesis, a
I
little
love
play
it.
on my name, photosynthesis.com. Um, and you can get in touch with me there also.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
what I said about the river, right?
Yeah, the
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 doctrine
doctrine
of
of
flux.
flux.
Yeah, yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
makes sense to me too.
Yep.
Michael, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
I know that you have to get going, but maybe we can just continue this conversation another time.
Absolutely. I'd love to. This is such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you and your audience.
Thank you. And your audience, you brought some people with you here.
Yeah. Rock
So
and roll.
thank
Oh,
you.
let me get some balloons. Hold on. I think I can do it. Let me see. Will it do it? No. Oh, my camera's not doing it on your. Oh, maybe I have
Oh,
to.
there you go. You
Oh,
got
there we go.
fireworks.
I've got like a cool thing on my camera. It does like some cool things. There we go.
Oh,
Confetti.
I need to learn that. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening to this live broadcast. I know that several of you will be reaching it on repeat. That's totally cool. And this evening at 8:30 Central, there will be a special holiday show on All Access Network with Paranormal Unveiled. And I plan to pop in there. Maybe I'll put on a little Christmas costume. We'll see.
Cool.
So, again, thank you very much, Michael. And thank you, everyone, for popping in. And have a great week. See you next time.
Bye bye.